While Democrats and Republicans in Washington battle over the ongoing government shutdown, the ripple effects are being felt far outside the nation's capital. Of the 800,000 federal workers wondering when they will get their next paycheck, 80% live beyond the D.C. Beltway, including in many urban areas. I'm joined now by two mayors. From Oklahoma City, Republican Mayor David Holt, and from New London, Connecticut, Democratic Mayor Michael Passero. Gentlemen, thank you both for being with us. Mayor Holt, I'm going to turn to you first. Oklahoma City, population of what, about 645,000. How is it being affected by this shutdown?
Yeah, I mean, we've got 650,000 in our city proper. We've got 1.3 million in the metro. And so, yeah, we've got a lot of federal employees. Of course, everybody knows we have a federal building in Oklahoma City because of what happened in 1995. So, yeah, they're affected. We're also, we as a city government are affected. We have transit grants that we're not getting paid. But we care most, I think, about our citizens that are not getting paid, and we're also, worried, just like every city with an airport is, about what's going to happen with TSA in the weeks ahead and whether that's going to impact travel plans. And then we have a unique thing here in Oklahoma City. We're the home of the FAA Training Center, so we have all the air traffic controllers in the United States are trained and educated right here in Oklahoma City, and they've shut that school down, and so. We've got students that were here for a temporary amount of time to train. We've had generous apartment owners and landlords who are trying to work with those students to float them while this goes on. But, it affects the nation because we're already behind. We already have an air traffic controller shortage in this country. We were hoping to graduate 1,500 out of Oklahoma City this year. And right now, we're not graduating or training anybody. So that's a unique thing that we've got here in Oklahoma City as an impact of the shutdown.
And that's something people certainly are going to pay attention to. Mayor Passero, New London, a smaller population city, but how are you being affected?
Yeah, we're quite a bit smaller than Oklahoma City at 27,000 people, but we're very densely populated into a 5.5 square mile area, and we're the urban hub for a much larger metro area in southeastern Connecticut. And we host 4 major Coast Guard institutions, and the Coast Guard is being severely impacted by the shutdown because they're not part of the DoD. They're part of Homeland Security, so their funding has been cut off. The Coast Guard Academy has over 1,000 cadets. They are continuing operations, but the 300 military personnel and the 250 civilian personnel are being affected. Many are furloughed. Some have to work without pay. We also host the Coast Guard R&D Center in New London. We host the International Ice Patrol, and we have a working Coast Guard station that patrols and protects the waters surrounding New London. So fortunately, we have the governor, Governor Lamont, has negotiated an arrangement with the private banking institutions to provide no-interest loans to cover the lost paychecks.
Right.
He is, of course, furloughed employees are eligible for unemployment, and there is a military fund, relief fund, that's being made available from the state military office. And the community is really pitching in to help all these employees. There's pop-up food pantries and volunteer organizations.
And I want to ask you both about that. It is an important thing, I think, for all of us to be reminded of all these different jobs that federal employees do. It's almost as if this week we're being reminded again of just how many jobs are performed by federal workers. Mayor Holt, you mentioned in Oklahoma City how the community's stepping up. I mean, give us a little more of a sense of that. What's being done to reach out, whether it's the training of air traffic controllers or the other federal workers who are affected?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, we've got landlords in town who are, at this point, generously working with with the people living in with their tenants, people living in their apartments. But even in the coverage I've seen of those generous offers, they say, we can only do this so long, and so there's certainly a point where generous landlords run out of funds and resources. And we at the city, we're working with our utility customers, obviously, who are affected. I even had a gentleman reach out to me this week. He's an IRS employee. He's still working, but he parks in one of our public parking garages downtown, and he didn't feel like he can cover the bill this month. And so we've got our transit department working with him to help him with that, and obviously delay some of those costs. We're all trying to pitch in, and we certainly are happy to do that. But at some point, people's ability to do that will run out.
What about that, Mayor Passero? Are you beginning to get a sense that this just can't, these kinds of individual stories of help just can't go on indefinitely?
Well, that certainly would be the case, but we are a very strong military community. We also host the Naval Submarine Base, and Electric Boat is across the river in Groton. It's just a very, very large military community, and the military takes care of their own. So, our community is ready to stand with the employees and the active duty personnel that are really suffering under this shutdown.
I think what a lot of people don't realize is that the Coast Guard does not fall under the Department of Defense. It falls under, as you said, Department of Homeland Security, which is one of the agencies that is not functioning. They're not paying employees right now. I want to finally ask both of you, you are leaders in your community. You are the leader of your city government. Mayor Holt, as you look at what's going on in Washington between the president and the congressional leadership, what do you make of it?
Well, Judy, as a mayor, if I told my citizens we were shutting the government down, it would not be acceptable. That keeping the lights on is basically the bare minimum requirement for competency. And I don't think there's any good reason to shut down the government. I do not believe that should ever be a tool for leverage, no matter what the policy discussion is about. And so as a mayor, we have to, and I'm sure I speak for my colleague also on this segment, we have to keep our services out there for our citizens. That's what we're expected to do. And so if I had any message to anybody in D.C. who has power to correct this situation, it would be this is not an acceptable outcome. No matter what you feel about these different issues at play, we've got to get the government running again, and we've got to get these people back to work.
Mayor Passero, what about you? What do you make of this, and what should happen?
Well, I would agree with all of that 100%. With some of the behaviors we're witnessing down in Washington right now, I certainly hope that the children are not watching. We're thankful in the 2nd Congressional District in Connecticut that we have a great human being and a wonderful representative in Congressman Courtney. And I think that it's really, I hear the mayor of Oklahoma City, I think he reflects the bipartisan attitude of most of our representatives in Washington. So they have to get the attention of the leadership. They have to get the leadership to get this done and get the government running again.
Just very quickly, does either one of you want to suggest in a sentence what they should do to resolve this? Mayor Holt?
It's the thing we do in every city in America. We compromise and we get it done. We have no choice but to be effective, and that's what has to happen here.
And Mayor Passero?
Absolutely. Compromise. Neither side's going to get everything they want. They just simply have to compromise. They have to get it done now.
Well, we hope they're listening. Maybe they are. Mayor David Holt of Oklahoma City, Mayor Michael Passero of New London, Connecticut. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Judy.
you.